Hello, today we're going to work on problems that are going to require you to complete the pattern. In this first problem, it asks us to find the next number in the pattern. We have a pattern here, 17, 14, 11, 8, and then an unknown. We need to figure out what is the next number in this pattern. Now, my first recommendation to you is looking at the pattern and see, are my numbers increasing or decreasing? In this pattern, our numbers are in fact decreasing. That means our rule is either going to be division or subtraction. So we're going to look at the first two numbers in our pattern. We have 17 to 14. So you might think 17 divided by something gives you 14, and you might not be able to figure out what number that would be. So let's try subtraction. 17 minus 3 happens to be 14. So that could be a potential rule here. Now let's see if that minus 3 works for my next set of numbers. 14 minus 3 happens to be 11, and 11 minus 3 happens to be 8. So now that we've identified a rule of subtract 3, we can do that same rule to help us find the next number in our pattern. So 8 minus 3 is 5, which is telling us that 5 is that next number in our pattern, and 5 would be the answer to this question. Now notice once you identify the rule, it's very simple to help you figure out the next number in the pattern. So we're going to do the same thing here. In this pattern here, we have 40, 20, 10, and then we need to figure out the next number. Now in this pattern, I notice it's also decreasing. So that means we're either going to be doing a rule with division or subtraction. So if I look at here, I see 40 minus something gives me 20. That's true, 40 minus 20 is 20. But I notice here if I do 20 minus 20, is not 10. So subtracting by 20 cannot be my rule here, because whatever the rule is, I need to do for each set. So now let's try 40 divided by something is 20. And in fact, 40 divided by 2 is 20. And let's see if that works here. 40 divided by 2 is 10. So that could be my rule. In fact, I think that is my rule. So now 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that is the next number in this pattern. Once I was able to identify that the rule is dividing by 2, that helps me finish the pattern. In this problem here, we have 7, 16, 25, 34, and then our missing number. I notice in this problem my numbers are increasing. So that means I'm either going to do multiplication or addition. Now my first number here is 7, and I need to determine 7 times something gives me 16, or 7 plus something gives me 16. And I notice if I do 7 times a number gives me 16, I can't find a number. So let's see if 7 plus something gives me 16. And in fact, 7 plus 9 is 16. And I notice 16 plus 9 is also 25. And I notice 25 plus 9 is also 34. So now if I do 34 plus 9, I'm left with 43 as my final answer. And here, by adding 9 is my rule, I can use that rule to help me find out the next number in my pattern. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I have 3, 15, 75, and then some number. Now I notice my numbers are also increasing. So that means I am either going to use addition or multiplication. Now if I do 3 plus some number is 15, you can figure out what that number is. And in fact, 3 plus 12 is 15. But now if I do 15 plus 12, it's not 75. So let me try multiplication. I can do 3 times 5 is 15. That's great. Let's see if it works here. And I notice 15 times 5 is 75. So now I could do 75 times 5. Now, some of you might be able to do that without showing any work, but some of you might want to write that out on the side, which is absolutely fine. In fact, I'm going to do that on the side to confirm that I will get the correct answer. So now after I do my multiplication, 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2 is 37, giving me an answer of 375 as my next number in the pattern. Now, some of these patterns might require you to do some work on the side to help you determine that next number. Notice here I identified the rule of multiplying by 5, which helped me find the next number in my pattern. Today, you will be finding the next numbers in your pattern, and all of your rules are either going to be multiplication, division, subtraction, or addition. As always, I recommend that you first recognize, are my numbers in my patterns increasing or decreasing? That's going to help you decide, am I going to be using subtraction, division, or am I going to be using addition or multiplication to help me find that rule and to help me find the next number in my pattern. I recommend you refer back to this video at any time to help you with today's activities.